hunt and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the
Hey, what's up everybody? It's Rachel from the YouTube channel, Tony and Rachel. If you've never been to our channel before and you just stopped by to say hi or check out our content, we thank you and appreciate you very much. Don't forget to like our videos, leave a comment, let us know that you were here, and most importantly, don't forget to subscribe. A couple of videos ago, I did one called Hidden in Plain Sight. And it was just stuff on a cruise ship that was hidden in plain sight. And anyways, I had so much fun doing that video that I decided to do kind of like a little spin-off of it. And this one is called 63 Cruise Ship Facts That's Really Useless Knowledge. But it was so much fun, and I hope that you guys really enjoy it. And stick around because number 22, like, are you serious? So anyways, number 1, useless knowledge about cruise ships. The world's largest cruise ship, Wonder of the Seas, is 1,188 feet long. It's 210 feet wide. So it's the length of 3.3 football fields, and it's as wide as 4 semi-trucks with their trailers on. Like that's massive. Number 2, the largest cruise ships are 16-story buildings high. Like that's how tall they are. So can you imagine like standing next to a 16-story building and trying to see all the way to the top? That's what it's like if you were to stand next to like one of the cruise ships. People think that the cruise ships aren't really that big, but until you see them in person, woo-wee. I remember the first time I seen a cruise ship in person. It was the Carnival of Valor for Tony and I's very first cruise, and we were amazed. And cruise ships are like so much more bigger than that now. So number 3, this is crazy. There are more than 25 commercial ships currently being built around the world. Like 25 more ships being built. Like the cruise industry just isn't stopping, and each ship that comes out is like even more amazing than the one before. Number 4, now this is kind of interesting. Most cruise ships miss deck 13 due to passenger superstition. So if you go on a cruise ship, you're going to notice that deck number 13 is missing, unless you're on MSC. MSC is deck 17 because that's an Italian superstition. So if you're on MSC cruises, you'll notice that deck 17 is missing. Number 5, more than 30 million people took a cruise in 2019 before the pandemic. 30 million people is a lot of people, and that's crazy. So could you imagine like when the cruise industry was shut down, like how much money they were missing out on and how much fun we were missing out on? But 30 million people in 2019 before the pandemic, that's insane. Number 6, the cruise industry has grown year after year at a 7% average since 1980. So it just goes to show you that more and more people are realizing that this is the one way to vacation because it's the best. Number 7, the world total of cruise ship capacity. So the world total of all the cruise ships, if you take all the cruise ships in the whole entire world and add up all the capacity of what they can hold, it's almost 500,000 guests. So you can fit 500,000 people into all of the cruise ships around the whole world. Like that's a lot of people. So number 8, the number of cruise passengers per year is expected to reach 31.7 million people in 2022. That's a huge number, 31.7 million people per year by 2022. So this year. Number 9, the cruise industry is the fastest growing sector of the leisure travel market. Like where else can you go where you could travel to different countries all in one vacation, have all the food that you want to eat, somebody cleans your room for you, you don't have to drive anywhere. If you decide you want to get a little tipsy one night, you don't have to worry about how you're going to get home. It's just a short walk. Hopefully you'll be able to find your room. But I could totally 100% see how It's one of the fastest growing markets. It's one of the best ways to travel, and I would recommend it to anybody. Number 10, the Caribbean, like the Bahamas, is the world's most popular cruise destination. It accounts for a third of all cruises. So a third of all cruises ends up going to the Bahamas. The second most popular is the Mediterranean. I would love to do a Mediterranean cruise. That is definitely on my bucket list, along with like the Panama Canal. We recently watched Lolita Loca on his Panama Canal cruise, and that was like the coolest thing. Like I just love like fascinating stuff like that. It's very slow and going process, but it's actually kind of cool to watch and see how everything works. Number 11, 24% of Americans have taken a cruise vacation. So just 24% of everybody that lives in the US has taken a cruise vacation. Hopefully those numbers will rise because I don't know. I'm just a different kind of person. I would rather just actually be on vacation than have to worry about anything at all. Number 12, cruises account for 1 in 8 vacations in the UK. So people in the UK, out of 8 vacations, at least one of those people are going on a cruise. Number 13, the average age of a cruise passenger. And this one kind of surprised me a little bit. I thought that it might have been like a little bit younger, but I guess that they probably take all the like all the cruise lines into consideration when they did this. But the average age of a cruise passenger is 46 years old. Number 14, 62% of most people that are cruising are married and work a full-time job. I believe that. I mean, you know, you have to work full-time jobs if you want to go on a cruise. Actually, you really don't. It just depends on when you go. But a lot of people, I can see that 62% being married and work full-time jobs. Number 15, the cruise industry creates 4,000 new jobs every single year. So, you know, that's amazing. Like the more jobs we can create, you know, the more opportunities people have to better themselves, better their lives. That's great. And if you have a company that, or an industry that creates 4,000 jobs a year, like that's some good stuff right there. So we have to keep them in business, guys. Number 16. So the cruise industry puts back $53 billion into the US every single year. That's a lot of money. So just keep that in mind. It's, you know, that's good business right there, and it does good for our economy. Number 17, 40% of passengers return to destinations they have been to before. And I can totally see this. We've been to the Bahamas quite a few times. We've been to different parts of the Dominican Republic a few times. We've been to Puerto Rico a few times. We've been to Aruba a few times. So especially if you like Caribbean sailings, and so you do a lot of those, you're going to return to the same destinations, which there's no complaining because they're absolutely beautiful. But people just like what they like. And so, you know, if they want to return back, they can. And plus, it gives you more opportunity to explore areas that you didn't get a chance to do the first time you were there. Number 18, 80% of passengers believe cruising is an essential method to visit new land. And it really is. Like, you know, you hop on a cruise ship for 7 days and you visit 4 different ports. Like, how can you not go wrong with that? And it's very inexpensive for everything that you get to do. So number 19, a cruise ship can sail more than 73,000 nautical miles a year. That's a lot for a cruise ship. You know, especially if you think about it, they go nonstop. They don't even take a day off. They just go, go, go. So 73,000 nautical miles a year. That's pretty impressive. Number 20, the average cruise speed is 20 knots. You guys know how much that is in miles per hour? When you're on the cruise ship and you're looking overboard, like it looks like we're going fast. You know, like those waves are just going by and like it's really cool. But honestly, 23 miles an hour, that's all. That's not very fast. 23 miles per hour on land is 20 knots. Number 21, a number of retirees choose to live on cruise ships. And I've heard this before. It's a lot cheaper to live on a cruise ship instead of a retirement home. And not only do you get everything that you need, they also have doctors and, everything else. And if there's something that you really need, you can get it whenever you get to ports. I would so do that. I would live on a cruise ship if I could, even right now. Number 22. Now, this one is the one that I was waiting for you guys, because we hear all the time, like, I don't want to go on a cruise. The Titanic sunk and blah, 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 blah. And we're like, oh my gosh, you should like see cruise ships nowadays compared to the Titanic. So number 22, the original Titanic would barely be half of the size of modern day cruise ships. And if you okay, so this picture that I put up here, that's the Titanic versus the Symphony of the Seas. Now, could you imagine if you put the Titanic up next to like Wonder of the Seas? Like that thing would be like this big and the cruise ship's like this big. Like you honestly have nothing to worry about. Like cruise ships are, honestly, they're like a huge hotel. Like you have a floor where there's shops and malls and like all kinds of things. And then a lot of them have 2 restaurants along with all the other little eating places. And like, you just don't even know until you actually go on a cruise. Like you just have no idea. You can't even compare them to the Titanic anymore. Number 23, docked cruise ships have served as hotels for major sporting events, including the FIFA World Cup and the Olympics. So yeah, they do use cruise ships for things like that, which is really nice that they, offer those things, which also puts me into number 24 with students in New Orleans who educated aboard a cruise ship following Hurricane Katrina. So that's another thing. When disaster strikes, the cruise lines will use their cruise ships to bring supplies to people and house people if they have to. Like, they do a whole lot more than just cruise people around the world. Like the cruise industry is an amazing, amazing industry to be part of. Number 25, passengers aboard a single cruise. This is so crazy, guys. And I'm going to do a whole bunch more of these at the end of the video just because it's so fun. Passengers aboard one single cruise can consume more than 5,000 eggs. 5,000 eggs, guys, on one single cruise. 2,000 steaks and 1,000 baked potatoes. Now you have to keep in mind, they're probably averaging like a 7-day cruise for this, and probably a bit of a smaller ship. 5,000 eggs. I just can't. That's a lot of eggs. Like, where do they keep all of them? They have to have their own chickens. Number 26. There is a cruise dedicated to cat lovers called the Meow Meow Cruise. So if you are the cat lady, or you love cats, or you're obsessed with cats, or cats are your life, they have a cruise and it sails like 1 or 2 times a year called the Meow Meow Cruise. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure that you look it up. Number 27, during the World Cruise, more than 840 bottles of vodka, 312 bottles of gin, and 285 bottles of scotch will be drank on the World Cruise. Now, I looked it up to see the World Cruise is actually canceled for 2022 because of the pandemic. A lot of the ports are still struggling, and so they wouldn't have been able to stop there. So once again, the World Cruise is canceled. But 840 bottles of vodka, 312 bottles of gin, and 285 bottles of scotch. Whew, that's a lot of alcohol. A lot of alcohol. Number 28. Cruise ships often perform rescue missions when smaller boats get in trouble. So this picture that I put up right here, this is a photo from 2020 when the Carnival Sensation rescued 24 people from a sinking boat off the Florida coastline. So they do that too. Or if another cruise ship is close by and somebody falls overboard, they will help with search and rescue. So they do a lot of great things like that too. Number 29. Now this is absolutely insane. There had to have been just one person on this cruise. The most expensive cruise vacation, and I'm gonna put up a picture of the cruise ship so that you can see. that I just can't see paying this much money. The most expensive cruise vacation could cost you millions. So the Silver Whisper from Silver Sea Cruises offers packages costing a cool $1,273,165. Guys, who has that much money for a cruise? And look at the ship. Like, it's okay, but it's not like, the Mardi Gras or the Wonder of the Seas. It's just like a little mediocre ship. $1 million? That blows me away. Like, I wish that was pocket change. All right, so number 30. It's a common superstition that it's unlucky to bring flowers on board a cruise ship or on board any ship for that matter, because it's disrespectful to the sea and it's dooming all on board, because flowers are used for funeral wreaths symbolizing that someone could die. And it's good luck to spill wine on deck. So don't bring flowers on deck because it's bad luck, because it's just saying that people are going to die. And it's good luck to spill your wine. So if you can afford it, dump it out. I don't know if the crew would like that very well, but it's good luck. Number 31, many cruise ships contain hundreds of unique art, and most are available in onboard auction. And though I've never bought any art from their onboard auctions, there's so many times that I'm just walking through looking at it, and I would just love to have it. They have some really, really nice art pieces. So just pay attention to the art that's hanging up on the walls, and maybe, stumble into the art auction one day, because they really have some pretty cool stuff. Number 32, I went over this in my hidden in plain sight video, but it did pop up again. So the fish on I can't talk. So the fish on the decor of the Norwegian Jade and Norwegian Jewel all point to the front of the ship. So if you're on Norwegian and you want to know which way is the front of the ship, just look in the direction that the fish are going in the carpet. If the fish are going forward in the carpet, walk that same way and you'll end up in the front of the ship. Number 32, many of the kitchens are located under the water surface. So there's no windows, no nothing down there, but they're far enough down that they're actually under the water when they're making all of our food and stuff. So that's kind of cool. They probably don't even really realize it, so it's probably not even scary. Number 34, there are more than 2,000 ports which can be visited by cruise ships. So that's good to know. Like, your options are like unlimited. Like 2,000 ports, that's a lot of ports that you can visit. And it's probably, all over the world, the Caribbean, Mexico, Alaska, Australia. You can go to Italy. Like, it's just endless possibilities. Number 35, almost half of all major cruise ship itineraries depart from Florida. Who knew? I believe it because they have a lot. They have a lot of ports just in Florida, and probably the most favorite cruise by a lot of people is the Caribbean cruise. So I can totally see how a lot of people would be leaving from Florida ports. Number 36. Is that right? Am I on 36? Yeah. Number 36. Speaking of which, the Port of Miami is the world's most busiest home port. However, Nassau, Bahamas is the overall busiest port. So the busiest home port is Miami, where most people leave from, and then most people travel to Nassau on a cruise ship. So that's very interesting. Number 37, 7 days is the average length of a cruise that people take. So most people prefer 7-day cruises. I myself probably wouldn't go on anything less than 7 days. Well, I do take 6-day cruises when we do back-to-backs. But I wouldn't do a single cruise that was less than 7 days. Number 38, all ships in the Holland American Line fleet are named for compass points. So if you look up the Holland America Cruise Line ship names, then now you know that they're all compass point names. That's kind of interesting because I didn't know that before. Number 39, this is kind of cool. So when they're building your cruise ships, Cruise cabins are constructed away from the ship, and then they're slotted in. So they'll build all the cabins, and then they'll take them to where the cruise ship is, and they'll just slide them into the little slots where they go. So that's kind of cool. Number 40, an average cruise manufacturer can produce 12,000 cabins a year. That's an insane amount of cabins. Wow. Yeah, that's a crazy number. Number 41. No, this is insane. The Royal Princess, which is part of Princess Cruises, took 3 million man hours to build it. That is a lot of hours. Like, I wonder how many people were actually building that cruise ship, and how many hours each person actually put into it. If you guys know, leave it in the comments, because that's interesting. Stuff like that is just interesting to me. But 3 million man hours. No, that it has me like intrigued now. Number 42, the Monarch of the Seas was the first cruise ship to have a female captain. How about that? Like, that's a good accomplishment right there. Yeah, that's kind of cool to have a female captain. I wonder if there's been any more since then. Number 43, the P&O Britannia's hull proudly displays the world's largest Union Jack flag. And here's a picture of it. I'll just insert it in. And the paint, it took 420 liters of paint to paint that. That's a lot of paint, but I'm telling you, it's really pretty. I like it. It looks good on that ship. So 420 liters of paint to paint the Union Jack flag. Number 44, the Harmony of the Seas has a 10-deck slide. Like, it's not a water slide. I think it's just a slide to get you from deck 10 or whatever deck that it starts on all the way down. I've never been on the Harmony of the Seas before, but it is cool. But it is a really, really big slide. Number 45, Carnival Cruise accounts for 21.3% of cruise passengers, and Royal Caribbean is at 16.67% for cruise passengers. So, those are two of the most popular cruise lines out there. We've been on both. Number 46, the Queen Mary. The Queen Mary 2 features a planetarium, so guests can explore the stars. It also operates a kennel club, so cats and dogs can cruise with their owners. So let's talk about the planetarium. Those are actually super cool. If you've never been to one and you happen to go on the Queen Mary 2, definitely check it out, or look to see if there's a planetarium in the area where you live, because they're really, really neat. As far as the kennel club, I think they're the only cruise line that actually does that. So if you're a cat and dog lover and you want to take your family members with you, because yes, cats and dogs are family members, then look up the Queen Mary 2 and your pets can cruise with you. Number 47, Prince Charles was the very first civilian passenger on the Queen Mary 2. So that's some knowledge to know. Useless knowledge. Number 48, this is kind of cool. Cruise ship anchors can weigh more than 15 tons. 15 tons. Those are really heavy. I wonder how many elephants that is. Number 49. It says some cruise ships, but I'm pretty sure all of them do. And I touched base on this in my Hidden in Plain Sight video, along with the next one. Cruise ships have onboard morgues. So if something was to happen and somebody tragically passed away, they do have a morgue to keep people in until they get back to port. So number 50, and I also did this in Hidden in Plain Sight, all cruise ships have onboard jails, and you will be put there if you do something terrible. So stay out of jail on a cruise ship. Number 51, any ship with more than 50 passengers is required to have a hospital, which would make sense to me. All cruise ships, I think, have onboard doctors anyways, but if they have 50 or more passengers, then they have to have a hospital. Number 52, now this is kind of cool. The Norwegian Epic has a bar made out of ice. It's 8 degrees below zero, and it costs about $20 per person. And it equals, you get 2 drinks out of it, and it lasts for about 45 minutes. I think they provide you with ponchos and gloves. So yeah, that's cold. 8 degrees below zero to go sit in and have a drink. And you're sitting on ice too. Like everything's made out of ice. It would be super cool to go see it probably. And I don't know though. I hate being cold, but it's still kind of cool. I lost my spot. Number 53. Many cruise ships can legally marry guests. So if you want to get married on a cruise ship, definitely get a hold of the cruise line and look into it. I also have a video that tells you all about this. So if it's something that you want to do, make sure that you check that video out and give me a thumbs up on it. Number 54, a number of cruise ships offer AA meetings. So if you are recovering and you're worried about that, you don't have to worry. They do have AA meetings, and they're called Friends of Bill W. So they're there for you if you want to do that. So that's really nice. I really like that they have that option. Number 55, almost all cruise ships are foreign flagged. They're all from foreign ports, and then they just come to the U.S. to be nice to us and let us go on amazing cruises. Number 56, there's no dentist on a cruise ship. Doctors, yes. Dentists, no. So if you're having some problems with your teeth before your cruise, make sure you get that taken care of because they can't help you on the cruise ship. And if it's bad on a cruise ship, you may have to seek out help in one of the ports. Number 57. This is also on my other video. There's a water filtration plant on the ship. It's pretty cool. So all of your drinking water and all of that, it's filtered right there on the ship, and it comes back out. They do like their sewer and all of that stuff right there on the cruise ship. So that's actually kind of interesting. You don't believe how much stuff goes on behind the scenes of a cruise ship until you actually, like start digging into it and figuring it out. Number 58. This is me, 100%. The average cruiser gains at least a pound a day. Like, who doesn't? You have all of this food, like, sitting right there, and you could be stuffed and you still need ice cream. You're like, oh, I'm not really hungry. And then you see, like, Guy's Burgers, like a full blast, making all of this food, and it smells so good, and you can't help it. You just have to grab a burger and some fries. Number 59. The crew have their own bars and buffets on their own crew decks. So that gives them a little bit of a break away from people for them to just unwind and relax. Number 60, cruise ship cabin walls and doors are metal for fire safety. And they're not just good for fire safety, but they're also good for hanging up magnets on your walls. So you can hang your towels, you can hang your lanyards and all that kind of stuff. And then on the doors, you put magnets up, and you can hang up like decorations and things like that. Decorate your cruise ship door. Number 61, Friends of Dorothy is also on cruise ships, and that is for our LGBTQ community. So if you want to be a part of that, just look on your itinerary for Friends of Dorothy. Number 62, though some cruise lines offer fresh and saltwater pools, most cruise ships fill their pools with seawater. So if you're ever on a cruise ship and they empty out the pool to clean it or whatever, and then they fill it up fast, the water actually goes, I think it goes through like a filtration system, to get out any little things. And then the pools are filled up with the seawater. It's kind of cool. They fill up really fast too. And number 63, the Carnival Mardi Gras has the first ever roller coaster at sea. It's called Bolt. And I do think that they charge like $15 for it, but it is the very first ever roller coaster at sea. So if you ever go on the Carnival Mardi Gras, make sure that you check out Bolt. Okay, so 1 through 63 is all the way done now, but there was some fun things that I'm just going to add in because I just stumbled across this and it's astonishing to me, and it's actually some really useless knowledge that's just kind of fun to know. So on a small ship, say like before these bigger ships came out, so maybe like the ships from like the 90s, early 2000s. So on the smaller ships of about 1 to 2,000 passengers. 10,000 dishes of food are served in one day. One day. 10,000 dishes of food. 14,000 bed sheets and pillowcases are washed every single week. And 900 uniforms are pressed daily. 4,000 cups of tea are drank in one day. And that's on the smaller ships. That's a lot. Okay. So then I was like, man, so I wonder, what are the ones for like the bigger ships? Okay. So I looked up Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Seas. The Symphony of the Seas holds 6,680 guests with 2,200 crew on board. That's like 9,000 people, almost 9,000 people. Okay, and here we go. So in 1 week, they go through 60,000 eggs. I mean, I thought the eggs on the last thing I said was bad. 60,000 eggs on the Symphony of the Seas in 1 week. 9,700 pounds of chicken. 20,000 pounds of potatoes. That's a lot of potatoes. And can you imagine all of this weight is like on a ship? And where do they put it all? Like seriously, where do they put all of this food? 700 pounds of ice cream in 1 week. Do you know how many ice cream cones that is? 20,000. 20,000 ice cream cones in 1 week. 450 cases of champagne. 15,000 pounds of beef. 12,600 pounds of flour. 2,500 pounds of salmon. 2,100 pounds of lobster. Tony probably eats like 1,000 of that when we go on a cruise. 5,000 pounds of French fries. There's 40 different varieties of fruit that you have to choose from. There's 80 varieties of vegetables on every cruise. 3,200 slices of pizza per hour. That seems like a lot for the Symphony of the Seas. 3,200 slices of pizza an hour. 479,314 gallons of drinking water in a week on the Symphony of the Seas. I'm glad to see people are drinking their water. 9,000 pounds of lettuce. 1,800 pounds of coffee. And last but not least, I'm sure you guys are wondering, 5,300 pounds of bacon. That's 750 pounds of bacon a day. I wonder if that still applies though, since they're only doing bacon like every other day. There's like bacon shortage. 5,300 pounds of bacon, guys. Like, these are some amazing numbers. These numbers are huge. Like, that's a lot of food. Holy smokes. So anyways, that concludes my useless knowledge. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this video. I know I had so much fun like researching it and making it. Hope to see you guys all on a cruise ship one day so we can eat some of these 60,000 eggs together. But if you liked my video, please hit the thumbs up button. Leave me a comment. If you guys have any useless knowledge or you want to add to anything, just let me know. Ask questions. I'll be sure to get back to you. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Show us some love. Help us grow. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.